What's up, you guys? Welcome back, and if you're new, thank you so much for being here. So I asked you all on a YouTube poll what you wanted to see for my next video, and prison nurses won. So I'm about to spill some tea. Before I get started, I just have to say that I do these stories because one, it's my story, it's my experience, and they are entertaining. But two, to try to deter people from going to prison. I am not glorifying prison. I don't think it's cool to go to prison. There is nothing fun, funny, or amusing about breaking the law. But at the same time, you guys are interested. You want to know what goes on behind prison doors. So I'm going to tell you. I'm going to spill that tea. I just don't want anyone to ever get confused as to why I'm sharing all of these stories on YouTube. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so my time in New York, I didn't spend a lot of time with the prison nursing staff or doctors at all because I was never sick, right? So I think the first time I really had any intense interaction with nurses and prison staff was when I was pregnant in prison in the South. So let me start with county jail because this is really where all of it started happening, right? So when I went to county jail in Fort Smith, Arkansas, it was Sebastian County, I was pregnant. I found out I was pregnant in jail from the most judgmental nurse I have ever met in my entire life. And she was really shitty. Her and I did not get along. But there were two other nurses that were so nice to me and so patient and encouraging. So the jail did not provide prenatal vitamins, okay? Which is crazy. Well, one of the nurses decided to bring me in her own prenatal vitamins, and she bought them with her own money and she kept them on the med cart for me. And that was so nice, right? Well, about the time that I started taking prenatal vitamins, I'm probably 2 months along, and I started getting kites from my friend. Kites are letters, inmate letters. I started getting kites from him saying, this nurse is bringing in all kinds of stuff. If you ever need anything, just use my name and ask her for whatever you need. And I just thought, no, of course I'm gonna try. Of course, there's a million things I want. The first thing I asked her for was this little water jug they kept on the nurse station so that every inmate could come up, get a little cup of water and take their pill, right? So the prison, the cell sinks that you press water to get out of is disgusting. It's never cold, it tastes gross. I really wanted ice water. I've said this before in a video. All I wanted was freaking ice water. So I asked this nurse, and I can't use her name, but I asked this nurse, I'm like, hey, can I just have this at night so that I can drink water and I can have a healthy baby, please? Because it was really difficult for me to overcome nausea and drink really nasty, lukewarm water that tasted bad. So she snuck me in that water jug, and for weeks, you guys, she would come in at night, leave me the water jug, and come pick it up in the morning before shift change. So it was so awesome that I got this water jug, and I just felt like a queen with a water jug, literally. It was full of ice, and I would just chomp on ice all night and just live my best life with this water jug, okay? So that was the first little test that I did with her. So then I got another kite saying, hey, I know that you can make a lot of money if you get some weed back there. I'll have the nurse pass it to you. Don't come out of your cell for med call, and she will bring you the prenatal to your cell. So I had a really bad attitude in county jail, and the nurses would just give up. If I say I don't want something, they would just go away, right? So a few times I was too nauseous to take a prenatal vitamin, and they'd say, oh, well, just tell Kent, go to the door, blah, blah, blah. And I'd hear the nurses bickering over who's gonna go to my cell because I was just really shitty, you guys. So the nurse that was getting things to me and my homie and passing things out in the jail came to my cell with a prenatal vitamin, and she took a little envelope of weed out of her nurse, what's that called? Scrub pocket, and handed it to me through the flap. And I just thought, no way is this happening. I just felt like king of the world, right? So I sold that and got a lot of commissary because when you have a little bit of weed, you can sell that for so much money. A pinner is gonna go for $20, and $20 in commissary when you have no food is amazing. So that was my first few interactions with her. I kept getting letters also hearing about her bringing in pizza, cell phones, and all kinds of things. So the crazy thing is when you have an inmate, you have a staff member in a jail or a prison bringing things into you, people are gonna take notice and people are gonna snitch. So I remember one time, my friend got a pizza, a full freaking pizza. I don't even know how she got it back to him. I have no idea. I'm gonna have to write him and ask. But someone snitched and they started ripping up the pizza box and flushing the pizza box because, she's not gonna get caught up. Well, like I said, she would bring in tons of things for the guys, especially my homie who looked out for me and was a real one. It was so cool, right? So I heard through the grapevine after she went missing for like a week that she was in jail. No one would tell us why. And I'm like, oh my God, she got busted. This is all my fault. I feel so bad for her. She was so nice. She got caught up from like stealing things, I guess, from the free world. So her and her husband or her and her boyfriend went to jail for theft of property. And she had to be PC'd. She couldn't come back with us, but there was no reason why she needed to be PC'd. We all loved her, right? So she of course lost her job, and that really is what happens more often than not somehow. Like, yes, she didn't get charged with bringing things into the prison for us, but that's just kind of how karma works, right? So she did end up losing her job, and I never saw her again. So that sucks, man. But yeah, I feel like more often than not, if you're too nice as a prison worker, you're not gonna make it. If you care, you're not gonna make it, because I have met more COs and prison staff that are so shitty and so mean than I've met nice ones. And the nice ones don't stick around that long, to be completely honest. Like, and please keep in mind, this is just my personal experience. I've met some really decent COs that don't make it because they care too much, and it's so draining and so difficult to handle every single day seeing people go through that. So in New York, when I was doing time, I didn't have a lot of interaction with prison staff at all because I was never sick and I wasn't pregnant. But I will tell you this right now, I felt so judged every single time by prison staff, especially prison nurses. So when I was pregnant, I had to constantly go out for medical in county jail. And then eventually when I went to prison, I was able to go to the infirmary and see a doctor that would come in once a week. And the nursing staff would take my blood pressure and do all of that stuff and monitor the baby. They were so shitty, you guys. They were so judgmental because I was pregnant, and that was just the last thing I needed. I already felt shame. I already felt horrible for being in that situation. And I think that was just a turning point in my life. Finally, something happened that got my attention, and I realized I can't live my life like this anymore. I have to change my life. I have to be here. I have to be a mother to my child. And she grew up her first 2 years basically without me. Her second year of life, I had visitation, but she wasn't in my home. She didn't even know me as mom. So that mistake was huge. But I'm very proud to say I have full custody of my daughter, and I've had her for 4 years, and there is no mistake that's too great to not recover and bounce back. No matter what you do, no matter what mistake you make, you can always make it right. You can always recover from those horrible situations and be living your best life. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.